Let's go. Welcome to the Insight Cafe. I'm your host, 𝗕𝗶𝘄𝗃𝗁, and today, I have 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗄𝗲 Thawornbut, also known as Ira, and in some streets, Baitoey.
Hi, thank you.
we worked on that before we started recording. So, Baitoey, Ira, is a social impact technopreneur, engineer, and educator who believes that a single goal can be met through multiple solutions. And she's the founder of 𝗕𝗵𝘄𝗃𝗁𝗲, right? And yes. I'm gonna let her take it away from here and tell us what is 𝗕𝗵𝘄𝗃𝗁𝗲 and why she created and the story behind that. And then we're gonna dive into Ira's story and what she's working on.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me today. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to talk about 𝗕𝗵𝘄𝗃𝗁𝗲 and other stuff I'm doing. So a bit about 𝗕𝗵𝘄𝗃𝗁𝗲 is it's an online donating platform that connects donors to nonprofits and receivers all over Thailand. And right now we help an orphanage down in the 3 southern regions of Thailand that are experiencing violence. We're helping elderly communities in Thailand who are unrecognized, and also a nonprofit for a hospital in the border of 𝗕𝗏. And we're sending supplies and items from donors to all of these areas in order to enable, resources to be distributed like more equally throughout the whole country. And I would say the reason behind why I started 𝗕𝗵𝘄𝗃𝗁𝗲 was when, so I'm someone who likes to volunteer at nonprofits, and I come from Phuket. It's a relatively, touristy city kind of thing. And I talked to one of the nonprofits there who are helping elderlies. And they said that here, like, we have so much water, like we have donors giving so much water to us that we don't know what to do about it. And now there's a nonprofit down in the 3 southern regions of Thailand that are requesting help because they don't have enough resources. So I realized that, like, while some nonprofits had like more than enough, like some nonprofits down in the south who are in danger zones are not even like receiving attention and not being like aided at all. So I realized that I wanted to kind of bridge this gap and create something, a platform that will create like an equal voice, that will give nonprofits a platform to give their wish list in, and then have donors donate items to them easier. So other than like being a communication platform, we're also an e-commerce platform where people can come in and buy all these items and get them sent to the nonprofits. So yeah, that's basically how I started 𝗕𝗵𝘄𝗃𝗁𝗲 and like the story behind it.
Oh, thanks for sharing. And I appreciate that. And I guess I'm curious, what was the moment that you knew that you wanted to do something about what you were seeing?
I would say it was that moment. It was that moment when so I'm someone who normally volunteers. I go for I give items if I have things that I don't need anymore, and they can still be used for with other people. And also I love to talk to people, like go around, talk to all these nonprofits. What are they doing? And it was because of that moment when I was like, wow, you have like tanks of water, like tanks of like trucks of water donated, while like some other nonprofits like are having to ask other nonprofits for aid. So it's like this disparity between like access to aid that's happening. And I knew that like I needed to do something with it. Like I could come and like donate every day or like once a month, but like I also wanted something that will be sustainable and stay, if I create something and it will stay forever or as long as possible, and be able to help these people every day, actually.
So it sounded to me, what I heard in that was, it's almost like inspiration versus a very obvious thing. It's like, well, of course I'm gonna help more people and I want to help more people. And for me, because I work a lot with entrepreneurs and leaders and business people around the world, and it's so interesting to me when I ask them about the origin story. And it's never this big laid out plan. It's always, I just had to do it. And then one thing led to another. And for you, it has led to a lot of other things. So I'd love for you to share that, like that journey too, like the 𝗕𝗕 project that led to you being an influencer for youth for social impact and entrepreneurship.
Yes, definitely. I would consider myself as like, I just start to do something and it would lead me to like, it would open more doors to me. And that's exactly what you said. And so through doing 𝗕𝗕, I realized, and I got to talk to so many people out there that are helping under-recognized groups of people, and it led me to innovate like a low-cost ventilator for rural hospitals, and also be able to connect like Bangkok restaurants to nonprofits outside of Bangkok. And so coming back to the low-cost ventilator, I was able to talk to the hospital in 𝗕𝗏 about their situation during the pandemic, because I was connected to them through 𝗕𝗕. And I realized that not only were like hospitals in Italy or like hospitals in like all over the world experiencing a shortage in ventilators, hospitals in Thailand and in rural areas have always experienced this, because they didn't have access to funding, to experienced professionals, and equipment that were high quality enough and high tech enough to save people's lives. And so I realized that it was also like a moment when I wanted to like do something, even though I didn't know how to make ventilators. I like started to research, like looking at the MIT prototypes, NASA prototypes, and seeing how they did it, and like trying to incorporate like simpler solutions for areas in Thailand. So I started like researching and started like prototyping a low-cost ventilator, reaching out to like professors in the 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗱𝗄𝗏 Institute of Technology, who are very generous, and they provide me with the labs and everything where I could like go in and work in them. And also Professor 𝗕𝗏𝘄𝗱𝗲𝗏 from 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗏, who has been there, like who's the first person I reached out to. I didn't know him, but like he used to do a low-cost ventilator like 10 years ago, and I saw him on Facebook. So like I reached out to him, and then yeah, so from there I got like advice from so many people, and was able to prototype a low-cost ventilator for rural hospitals. And it was unexpected, but I got the Thailand Innovation Award, because like after I finished the prototype, I saw that, oh, they're like kind of open for innovations to come in. So I just decided to apply like long after I finished the prototype. And so I got the Thailand Innovation Award 2020 for that as well. And so it's been like, I think like one event leads to another, and being connected to nonprofits, being connected to people, led me to see all the problems that they're facing, and allowed me to think of more solutions for these people.
That's so cool. What I thank you for sharing. What I heard in your story is in my work, there's something called create the impossible, right? Where you just look in a direction and you start going, right? There's no real complete 10 steps, but it's like, oh, I'm going to talk to this person. I'm just going to reach out to this person, and I'll create solutions there. And it kind of spider webs from there. And it's amazing how that can lead you to almost anywhere, right? And you ride the wave. So I'd be curious to know, like, what have you learned about yourself along this journey? Like, what are the big lessons you've learned along the way?
So like going back to what you said, like there's no set like plan for doing anything. It reminds me, like from the very start, I started like Sandy for Good at 15,
Mm.
like not knowing anything about entrepreneurship or, you know, being able to start a company at a young age.
Mm.
And so literally like started from knowing no one in the startup ecosystem at all. And this quote by 𝗕𝗶𝘄𝗱𝗲𝗲 was something that like stayed with me at from the beginning until now. And he said, when someone gives you an opportunity, just say yes and learn how to do it later. It's something along those lines. And I think that's like one of the quotes that I listened to when I was starting out, because so many of these things, like starting Sandy, I didn't know how to do, but I was able to go into a social enterprise competition called Win-Win War Thailand on Amarin TV. And there I was able to pitch to the national TV and like the judges on that platform. And I was able to learn so much from them. And from then on, a lot of opportunities came in. People started to like recognize me for my work with Sandy and invited me to you know, startup events, tech sauce, from that to TEDx talks. So all of that, like I never knew I would receive if I just stayed still and said like, oh, I can't do this. So I feel like a lot of these things I was scared at first for not knowing what to do with like all these opportunities, but like just saying yes by like not knowing led me to a learning curve that
Yeah, it sounded like
brought me to where I am today.
It sounded like you didn't just, I'm gonna get in the learning curve. It's like you took your surfboard and like threw it on the learning curve and just like jumped on it and like scooted it, like, you know, like, let's go.
Yeah.
I think in my work, that's why I think this interview is so important, because in my work, so like I see what you're talking about, I see possible for everybody. If everybody could just put down their thinking for a second and just jump on that learning curve, it will take you to places far beyond imagination. And what I see is holding most people back is really their own thinking or all the pressure they put on what it's supposed to be. And when it's, I was talking to a colleague, because I own a Taekwondo business, right? And when we get caught up in our own heads, we like to remind each other, like, you know, it's just Monday, right? Like chill. And you do Taekwondo too, right? And one of my coaches, Taekwondo, it's a great reminder. And we look at these Olympic gold medalists and world champions, and the coach likes to remind us that, you know, they all didn't know how to kick at some point, right? Like they all started white belt. At like every single person on TV started somewhere. Yeah. Like even tennis, right? Like our Thailand's Taekwondo star. And it's so humbling to know that that's true for everybody. Yeah. I'd be curious to you too, like what on your learning curve, what have been some of the bigger challenges you've faced or you've overcome?
So some of the, I think it would be trying to work like as like almost an adult, and also balancing that with being a teenager at school and trying to you know, excel and do schoolwork as everyone would. And so in the managing my startup side, I have to work with a team of like of adults who are in the Sandy team, and I'm kind of I am the founder of Sandy for Good.
I'm kind of the founder. Like
okay. Let me rephrase that. I'm the founder of Sandy for Good, and so a lot of like what we're gonna do and like decision making comes from me. But then people from my team, I'm very grateful that they're always there to listen and they're always there to support me as like a new founder, as a new leader, even though they've had so much experience in tech, in finance. And so I was able to overcome that barrier where I didn't know like how to, navigate at first, working with like such amazing people who are experienced, to like being in a team with them and creating like a collaborative team environment. So that was a curve that I had to surf over, and I'm still adjusting, and I'm still like, exploring all the ways we could work together. And it's been a really interesting journey for me. And as I mentioned earlier, I also had to balance that with school. So it was challenging, running Sandy for Good and school. And I had to, in the beginning, when I was like 15, 16, I'm right now 18, go back and forth from Phuket to Bangkok every week, actually. And
every week.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So
And
just for people listening in context, Bangkok to Phuket is like an hour flight.
an
Right?
hour flight, but it takes an hour to go from my house to the airport, and then 1 hour from from
Yeah.
airport to boarding, and then hour
It's
from
like an all-day trip,
yeah.
right?
So it'd be like 4 hours.
Like a 4-hour
4 or 5
commute.
hours.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty like time consuming. And I had to try to like really manage my time really well. And so in the end, like junior year, senior year, I decided to move to Bangkok to Irawadee International School to like continue my studies, and also like pursue like my social enterprise, so that like it would allow for more time for both of these endeavors. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm curious. What was that like mentally to handle that? Because I imagine like there was stress and pressure, like how and worry, and how do you deal with those things?
Mm-hmm.
That
So
I think that in
that's
my work, every entrepreneur deals with it. So I'm curious, like how do you deal with those things, or what does that look like to you?
yeah. Definitely when I was in the moment, I was worried, I was stressed. But like after after overcoming those initial like kind of like surprises to, oh, it's like this is happening, that's happening, I kind of come to a new phase of normal, if you
I
know what
get
I
that.
mean. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like anything that's new, or anything that's like coming at you like a lot at the same time is, initially stressful, but then you kind of learn to be at peace with it, and like, and that's like your new normal basically. And some things that like enabled me to do that faster would be my family and my friends, who are always there to support me, and they were always understanding of what I was going through. Like I was going through two things at the same time that were like equally important. And they always said like, if you needed rest, you could just rest. Like, and I adapted that mindset as well with myself. So like, even though I'm doing like so much, I always reminded myself that if I wanted time off, I would give myself that. Like, there's no like reason to be always working all the time. And that like those like pauses, those small pauses, in the middle of the day, or in the weekends, that enabled me to continue like sustainably doing work all the time. So I would say like it's like giving myself like time off, like in the middle of all these challenges, and like all these like fun things happening, that enabled me to feel like I'm not always like stressed out, or I'm not always working. I'm like it's like a balance between them.
You sound like a top CEO. Like I said, the balance. Like, so there's something you said that I think that really resonated with me. You said you learn to be at peace, and like that stuck out. So I'm going to ask you more about that. What does that look like to you?
What does it look like to me?
Yeah, because well, let me expand on that comment.
Yeah.
Because to me, you're on this learning curve, and you're still on that learning curve, and a lot of things are happening around you and through you, and it's so cool that you said I've learned to be at peace, because a lot of people I work with who maybe are not at peace, but they're not doing a lot of crazy things. So I know it's not like a lot of things equal crazy or nothing equals not crazy. That there's something there about being able to be at peace through anything. So I'd love for you to expand on that.
Yeah, I would say that's a really good question, and I like reflecting on it, because I would say it's more of like a perspective kind of thing, because people view levels of stress differently. Some things that are so stressful for me, for you, would be like so normal for someone else. So it's all about like how you view all these challenges and how you like react to it. So I would always remind myself, like when I'm in challenging situations, to say like, you've been through these phases before. Like, yes, it's challenging now, but then you'll like overcome it and it will be normal later. So that keeps me at peace, knowing that like if I get through this, I'll be at like a new level of normal, and it will just keep going on from there. So I really remind myself that it's all about like perspective and how I view these new challenges coming into my life, and it's not the same for everyone. And a way to I think like practice it would always be to remind yourself of that, and talk to a lot of people, see how they've dealt with these things as well.
I'd love to know about, well, actually, the one thing in my back of my mind is like, I wonder how she deals with worry, right? Because I think it's kind of interlinked, right? Because
Yeah.
I think it's one of those kind of silent things that really affect everybody, but we don't really talk about as well. Especially the chain, like you're impacting a lot of really social impact change, right? And I imagine there's a high amount of worry sometimes. So I'm just curious how you deal with worry in your work, in your school, in your business.
That's an interesting question. I've never been asked that before. So I would say stress and worry are very blurry for me at times. I don't know how to identify between them yet, but I think worry comes when I don't know how, when I don't know how to do certain things, and I don't know whether I'll be able to achieve certain goals. And I think it goes back to my first point. It's also about like how I view it as well. Like if I know that it's something I don't know how to do, then I tend to not worry about it, but like find out who has been through this and how I'm gonna overcome it. So I spend
like
less time worrying.
Yeah.
I think I spend less time worrying and like more time like trying to find like how I'm gonna get through this. As I said, like if I don't know how to do a ventilator, I find professionals who have done it before, and that saved like all my worries, because although they're not going to help me with like making it, they're not going to make it for me, but just talking to them, learning from them would eliminate all my worries, because then I would kind of like make steps for myself in order to reach that goal.
That's really interesting. What I heard and what you said was, yeah, worry is cool, but the way I deal with worry is jump in the game. I
Yeah.
think it's so impactful. And it's like there's a truth to that, right? Because I think ultimately, to me, worry looks like what it's really made out of is our own thinking, right? Like you can, if you live in worry, it's like living in a really scary movie. And the moment you realize that it's in a movie, you can jump back into the game of like, okay, well, I'm gonna go figure out how to make ventilators versus worry about ventilators. For
Yeah.
me, that was really present in sport when I was like competing at the Thai national games, and I realized I could worry about competing or I could just focus on the game.
Definitely.
Very different experiences of being in the world versus like just being in my head, or oh wait, actually, like, you know what, every team I've lost against at the Thai national games has been from Phuket. Me and Phuket have beef.
Oh yeah. Well, our team's really good. I'm from Dragon Gym, and I could say like they're the best gym ever. I'm not sure which
I've lost
team.
from two dudes from Dragon
Yeah.
Gym. Like Knockout, you know that guy?
𝗕𝗶𝘄𝗱𝗲𝗄. Not
Big
sure.
big guy, Knockout. And then one guy, I think his name is not Game, but it's something like he was on the Thai national team, but like not like Dragon Gym. Me and Dragon Gym got beef too. They are ridiculously good.
Yes, they are. I'm
Yeah.
so proud of them.
Podcast over. Get out. Yeah, but I've had a lot of fun fighting guys from those gyms. Mad respect. Those guys are super good.
Yes.
And I've always played against them at the Thai national games too.
Yes.
So now my ego's hurt. But, no. But going back to the point, yeah, just how cool it is to see that you're able to notice it, not be consumed by it, and then jump back in the game and do more cool stuff. So now I want to ask you more about what's your current learning curve, because I remember before we started recording, you're hosting a forum. Like, how did that come about?
So right now I started that forum because, I'm connected to so many amazing young leaders, young people through starting Sandy, through the events I've gone to. And I feel like their stories like always in the back of my mind, no matter like what I'm doing. I hear people, wanting to know about me, and also about like youth leaders. And I like, in the back of my mind, I was always like, if people were able to hear my friends' stories as well, they would like, it would like in combination with each other, and it would like I think be a great source of inspiration, and also ignite some kind of action in them, and hence the name of the event called Igniting Action in STEM Entrepreneurship and Activism. So it was always at the back of my mind, but because I was doing Sandy and I also had school to do, I was never able to like pursue that idea in my mind, like, and I never like put that into like shape or form until like recently I had more time in my hands, and I was able to sit back and talk to STEM club members at my school, which I'm president at, and we were like, we want to solidify or put in shape like the energy of all these people who have done such amazing things, and kind of do something with it. And then we came up with like an online forum, because people are from like all over the world. We can't like bring them like physically, but because of like technology, Zoom, we're able to do that through an online forum. So that's what we decided to do. It's a 3-week forum, happens every weekend, and we invite speakers from researcher at MIT Media Lab to youth leaders who have spoken at World Economic Forum and are UNESCO accredited, and So I really want to talk to them and let other people hear what they've done and, take something from it and realize like they don't have to be the same as all these people, but also see that by pursuing something that they're really passionate in and reaching out for all these new opportunities like these people have, they will be able to start something equally, or if not more inspirational or more impactful to the world. So I feel that's why I started that event.
What I heard and what you said is, what came to me was, oh, like Ira sees that everybody in their heart has a CTI project, like a Create the Impossible project. If they would only start and start asking people and start getting in the game, how different would the world look? That's what I heard in what you said, and that's really cool.
Yes.
What would you say is your current learning curve? Like what curve are you currently on? Like what are you learning about now?
Let's see. There would be the external learning curve, and there's also like intrinsic learning curve that's happening with me all the time. And I feel like externally, I feel like I've reached. I mean, even with like starting a social enterprise and trying to expand the impact, I still have a lot of room to grow. And I'm starting university and I want to dive deeper into engineering and business together and see where it leads me, because as I mentioned before, I don't really have concrete plans, but I believe that if I reach out for opportunities and accept them, even though I don't know exactly how I'm going to deal with them, it will bring me to like new heights, new learning curves as well. So I feel like that would be what's happening to me externally. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next, while also being like able to maintain Sandy for good back in Thailand. And I think internally, I have reached, I think like a plateau, like a new normal where I'm normalized. I feel like it's normal for me now to like be doing both school and social enterprise at the same time. And I feel like it's less challenging for me right now. And I would say I want to develop more interpersonal skills to learn to lead people in the future and be able to work with people even like so much more talented than I am. And yeah, creating a collaborative environment with them, like in the future when I start new enterprises, or like basically, yeah, I think that's what's happening to me right now.
Okay. That's a lot. Good for you though. I think what I like about you is that even on your learning curve, you're able to find that just one, it like with you, it feels like it's still very much, there's these big things happening around you, but still it's very much like a one foot in front of the other, and really enjoying those one foot in front of the other, right? And seeing how things unfold. And I love the language you use about just reaching out for opportunities and just asking people and just going with it. I think that's so underrated, because like that's where the sauce is. Like, and Taekwondo is a great example. Like you can have the best laid out plans, like I did for Phuket and Dragon Gym, but the moment we stepped on the mat, a lot of things happened that I did not plan.
Yeah, well, you can never know with Dragon Gym.
I'm
And their
still super
players.
bitter. No, I'm joking. Like they're gosh, I wish I
And
could remember his name. I think it was in 𝗕𝗏𝗏 games, and I fought
mhm.
Dragon Gym in the silver medal match, and
uh,
I got my ass beat. But
uh,
it was the most fun I've had because he was so good. Like,
yeah, I think Dragon Gym taught me a lot as well. I was like there since I was 6 years old,
wow.
until I was a black belt Dan 3, and I
Mhm.
was like coaching for like younger students. And I feel like I learned a lot. Like a lot of my mindset also comes from Taekwondo. As you know, Taekwondo is not only like the fighting on like the fighting grounds, but it's also like when we train, we learn about integrity, perseverance, discipline, all these things.
Indomitable
And
spirit.
yeah,
You're going through the
yes,
list. Yeah. No.
yeah, indomitable
Respect.
spirit.
Respect.
Yes,
Those are the five. Yeah.
yes, definitely. And I think um although we say that out loud, our like at least at Dragon Gym, our
Sponsored by
coaches.
Dragon Gym Phuket.
A shout out to Coach Yu and Coach Park. So they have taught us to respect adults and also respect our peers. And like one really important thing is also what my coaches told me, like if I win by cheating, it's like you've lost. Like it's like not winning at all. It's not commendable, and we should like, yeah. So basically those are some things that have always stuck to me until like this day. Also all the training and like the learning curve, that's also where I got it from. So it's like, yes, it's painful when you're training at first, learning new moves, fighting like talented opponents. But then at some point when you've reached that, when you've trained so much, you realize, oh, I'm at a new place now where that person I used to think is really hard to beat is now like my level, or if not, like I'm better than them.
Ira talking
Or
trash on podcast. You know, that person that Ira kicked her butt, she talking about you. You're not good anymore. No, I'm joking. I get it. No, but that's cool because I think
I mean, they're all like, actually, I've never, yeah.
no, I was gonna say take one of
Yeah,
the big
so
things
I would
Taekwondo
say
taught
like
me.
a lot.
There you go. You go. Keep going.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely a lot of these things that I'm talking about stem from the Taekwondo gym and Dragon Gym. And
Sponsored
I
by
feel
Dragon Gym.
oh, they should really pay me now.
I'm
But
sending them an invoice after this.
yeah, so yeah, that's basically, I would say Taekwondo is a big part of my life as well, even though I'm not like a professional Thailand national team Taekwondo player like you are, but it's a kind of like a lifelong philosophy, or I would say like lifelong mindset that has contributed a lot in doing like startups and like in school.
I think one of the things, this is going to make sense, but it might not make sense in the beginning. I think one of the biggest things I learned from Taekwondo is that invariably, when you first get on the learning curve, you're just going to suck. Like that is a given. Not that you suck, but it's so helpful to know that you're going to suck when you start anything new, and to not take that so personally and seriously. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, double. Well, of course you suck. You've never done a startup before. I don't see what the problem is, you know? But if you see, and it's like a perspective, right? Or to me, just a knowing, like if you know that you're going to suck when you start something new, and then you can ask for help and ask for opportunities, that pushes you along way further than everybody who's trying to be perfect when they're starting something.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And I like adding on to that, I would say like a lot of the things that I've done, or like I've started for the first time, going back to like the worry, I haven't been like worrying a lot about not not being great at like these things, because I always remind myself that like it's great that you started it. So what, like, how will you move forward with it and like grow as much from there? And so I've never really thought of myself as sucking, but like thought of myself more
Even when you were
like,
getting your butt kicked at Dragon Gym?
oh yeah, of course. Like,
Okay.
I mean,
Just check it in there. Check it in there. Sponsored by Dragon Gym.
maybe I never get my butt kicked at Dragon Gym, but like when I fight others in competitions.
I'm gonna do a background check on that. I'm gonna call. I remember the guy's name. His name is Team.
Team.
I'm gonna call Team and knock out like, yo, did you ever kick Ira's butt?
I think they're like old, like they're really
They're much
like,
older.
yeah, like when I would be there,
Ah, okay. I get it.
they'd be like,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah,
already
yeah.
like black belt, and I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be like 6 years old as a white belt. I'm not sure like how
Okay.
old they are, but but I like, if they know me, that would be great. But yeah, so where was I?
You were.
So yeah,
Yeah.
when I start
Mm.
something, I wouldn't say I think of myself as I suck, but like I would always say like, okay, you've just started it and it's awesome that you started it. Now go ahead and like and learn as much as possible. Whenever I don't know, or I feel like I can't do something, it's always like, okay, so what can I do to know how to do it?
Right.
And a part of this is also from my mom. She's like, don't spend time like thinking about like what you can't do. Like always think ahead and like see what you can do to solve that problem, basically. So a lot of the influence is also from my mom as well.
Oh, shout out to
Ira's mom.
Mama Thawornbut.
Yes.
Sponsored by Mama Thawornbut.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of that comes from my family and also Taekwondo, and yeah, and I owe a lot to, yeah, I owe a lot to them, and being able to pursue all these things while like knowing that I have people back here supporting me. It's very comforting to know that, even though I'm like, you know, experiencing completely like foreign new things, there's this sense of like comfort and normality whenever I come back home. So
Awesome.
that's been a big part in like allowing me to be risky, but still feel very whole inside.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. So we're coming up on time. I've just two more questions. So one question is, if you were to give the people listening something to take away, an insight, a perspective, or an idea, what would you love to give them?
I would say like going back to what I was talking about earlier, the most important thing is in order to achieve a certain goal or be whatever you want to be, is just by starting from zero, even though you're scared of it. So if an opportunity is there for you to grab, then say yes, and don't worry about like not being able to do it now, because you will know how to do it later once you dive into it and try to reach for people. And I think that's been something that it's like a lifelong skill that will help you excel no matter where you are or what you do. And so I think if you have that mindset, you can do anything at all like that you wish for. And another thing that I want to add is also, while we're trying to pursue all these like external achievements and factors, we should also like realize that that's not everything in life. And in order to be able to have all that energy to go outside, it's very important to have something very, very grounding and very warm inside of us as well. So our personal relationships, our families, our friends are really important, an important aspect that we have to take care of, and never you know, put them like after your work, because they are like a part of you and will be an essential part to like support you and keep you like human and like whole and normal throughout all the madness that you might go through. So I think it's also important to take care of the people like you love, as if it's also your job, because it is your job. And have fun, like remember to have fun with everything you do. And with that, like you'll be able to pursue like so many challenging situations, pursue goals that you've never thought that you could reach, while also remaining very peaceful and very wholesome inside of you as well. So I think those are the two main points that I want to leave to everyone today.
And Dragon Gym.
And join Dragon Gym.
That's wonderful. And lastly, what, where, all right, that's right. Like, is there anything you'd like to plug? You're doing the forum, like where can we hang out with you? Where can we follow your work? Where can we find out more about 𝗕𝗍 for good? Let us know.
Definitely. So right now I'm doing an online forum called Igniting Action. You can follow Igniting Action, like the page on Facebook, and we'll post updates about our speakers. So it will be this weekend, Saturday the 27th and Sunday the 28th, and then the last weekend would be March the 6th to March the 7th. We'll be featuring speakers, as I said, MIT Media Lab researcher, and also a social impact entrepreneur from the Philippines and also from the United States, who have been on like the UN General Assembly, also the World Economic Forum. They'll be like sharing their experiences, and it would be great if people can join. It will be on Zoom, and it will also be live on Facebook. If you want to join in on the Zoom call, you have to register. All the information can be found at Igniting Action Facebook page. And yeah, be sure to like that page and learn more about what we're gonna do. And so if you want to like follow me personally, you can go to Instagram, 𝗕𝗶𝘄𝗱𝗲. I have a lot of like, life updates there and like fun stuff on my Instagram story. And to follow 𝗕𝗍 for Good, you can go to worldwideweb.𝗕𝗍forgood.com. And also the Facebook page, Entai 𝗕𝗍, and then --𝗕𝗍 for Good. So those are the two platforms you can follow 𝗕𝗍 for Good at. On the Facebook page, you'll see like campaigns, and like on the website, you can access our e-commerce platform and be able to choose items to buy and donate to nonprofits all over Thailand.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for coming on and sharing your story, your wisdom, and your experiences. I really think everybody who's listening is going to get a lot out of it, and it's going to help a lot of people to just get out there and start trying stuff and be in the world.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me. You've got like an amazing podcast. I'm going back to try to listen to the most that I can. So like your podcast is really like so inspiring and very useful for a lot of people. And yeah, I hope I can add value to that. I do want to add, I'm still like in the beginning of like my learning curve in life, and I know that I have so much more to learn from you, from people that I'll meet in the future. So yeah, so bear with me, and yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
free to like open to have open conversations and talk about like anything and get advice from anyone who sees this video as well.
We got your back. We
Thank
got
you.
you. There used to be like the other dragon gym for like for young entrepreneurs and founders, and yeah.
Yeah, that's
Idea.
really interesting. That's
There you
really
go. There you go. The other gym. Dragon Life Gym.
Yeah, that's really interesting. If you're interested, we can talk about it later.
Yeah. Well, all right, Ira, Baitoey. It's been a pleasure having you, and yeah, I'm just grateful for you and your presence and all the people you're going to impact with your work, and you know, keep going.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I'll be following you as well. Thank you.
Hell yeah. I'll see you later.
See
Bye.
you. Thank you.